So this time we are studying a new telephone conversation between Secretary of State Kissinger and, of course, United Nations Secretary General Waldheim. So we are the next day, so July 16th, in the morning. We know that before this, the United Nations Secretary General called, in fact, Kissinger, and now we have the real contact. So I'm grateful for your returning my call. And the reason is you have probably heard from Waldheim that we have a serious development and wanted to inform you of a cable that we have received. So, cable, telegram, this would give a clear picture of the situation. I received from my special representative and commander-in-chief in Cyprus. I don't know if you have been informed by Waldheim. So at that point, Kissinger mentioned Cisco. So we have also another conversation with Cisco in a report, in fact. So what is the point? Lygeros may request a meeting of the Security Council to discuss what he terms Greek military intervention in Cyprus. So it's interesting because the position of the United Nations Secretary General is only to quote the Lygeros terms. So we know 4 members of the Greek government are being treated for wounds received during the coup d'etat in the last 2 days. So there was some involvement. So the problem is at what level? I want to know that we have these indications that the Greek military contingent is involved. And he also asked me to convey to you and others to help keep Cyprus independent and sovereign. So we have what? We have, in fact, the product of the speech of Lygeros at United Nations. I sent a message to the government of Athens and Ankara, stressing the importance of the maintaining. So I noticed the Greek government has affirmed this. This is the point of Kissinger. So now the other guy continues. Yes, the important thing is, well, it is not so important, but that the Archbishop asked that the British send a helicopter to evacuate him to a British base on the island. And the British High Commissioner accepted this on the condition that the Archbishop will accept evacuation to the United Kingdom. And in the meantime, our commander-in-chief has asked for protection. So Lygeros refused to evacuate the island, and I have now authorized our commander-in-chief to grant protection. Of course, that will cause problem in the future. This will be a problem. Yes. So why it's a problem? Because we see that they wanted at the first level to avoid the involvement of the United Nations, but due to the position of Lygeros against the British proposition, with the condition, of course, is in fact that we have a direct implication of the United Nations at this level. That's why Kissinger said yes. This is the most important information which I got this morning. So he mentioned also Lygeros. The other point is that Kissinger talked with Callaghan, who reports that we're evacuating Macarius, and that didn't sound right to me. I agree. So both of them work at the same frequency and think that there is a new problem. But for us, it would be a problem if the new military government is in control and no president is sworn in. Then we have a problem of what to do with Macarius. And this is very interesting, you see, because it seems that Macarius is another piece of this chessboard, which now is outside, and then don't know what to do if they keep him outside, or they decide at the end of the process to bring him back. So you see that they are going to talk tomorrow, exchanging information then. In any case, the point is, from the United Nations, I think it is important to avoid intervention by the Turks. So we are, in fact, 4 days before the intervention. So at this level, we see that they want to avoid this. Our information is that the Turks will report that they will not provide or do anything which could create deterioration of the situation, but this is the real danger. So for the moment, in fact, we know that now that Turkey was already preparing the intervention and Attila won, but the official position is that they wouldn't do anything which could create deterioration of the situation. So the answer is from Kissinger. We are dealing with the Turks today, and I will keep you informed. And I understand we are going to get together next week or soon. Of course, the answer is I want to talk to you. Very nice to talk to you, and I appreciate your keeping me informed. I think it's important because, you know, the information came from the United Nations and not from the United States. And we know that this is very important. So we have an implication of the United Kingdom and the British base. We have the implication of course, United Nations. They try to avoid intervention by the Turks, but the data from the Turks are wrong. So in fact, we are going to play a quite special game because they don't have all the information. So the rules are wrong. And now we can see that even if they try to do something to save the situation, they have already a problem. Why? Because the problem was, for them, not predicted. And they have to solve a situation to avoid another problem. But we know already that we are going to have the other one. So in fact, is the history of a failure at the highest level due to the lack of information. But for us, what is important right now is to see that they are trying to avoid the famous problem of the invasion. So it's very important to see that it's impossible from this to see a relation. It's impossible from this to see a previous contact. So it's only an interpretation to say that there was an implication. Vicky.
If they knew that the Turks are preparing something, their acts will be different?
Yes, totally. Totally. In fact, they consider that this problem for the moment is rather local, was in fact, but with the request of Macarius, the problem will be more international. So it's not just a small problem, but for them, the real problem is how to avoid the invasion, the intervention. They don't say invasion at this level because it's not a scenario, but the reality is that Turks are already lying about that. And this is a real problem. So no implication from US, no implications from United Nations. They discover the problem, then try to solve to avoid another one. That's all.